Hey up and away folks, welcome to another episode of Gray's Trains. My name is Gray and this is my train. This is the Just Trains Class 20 and we're doing a scenario that I made up for the Great Central route, Great Central Railway rather, which is available on Steam Sound Supreme. Also available on Steam Sound Supreme are the Windcutter demonstration freight packs, which make a prominent appearance in this. What's the gist of this scenario? Why have I created it? Well, I created it because of DTG's latest announcement for Train Sim World, which is that they're doing the West Somerset heritage route, but they decided to only include a Class 09 and a Class 47. And as you can imagine, this made a lot of people quite miffed, because 2 years of doing Train Sim World development and they haven't mastered steam engines yet. But yeah, I thought I'd do it on here, and I must say that even on my potato graphics, the Class 20 does look good. This is actually quite an old item of DLC. It's been around for about 6 years now. But it is a really nice item of DLC. It looks very good. Other things that also look very good are the Digital Traction 2MT, which I've got here as the GCR's resident 2MT standard 78019. Could do with a clean version, to be fair. And here's their resident Class 25. Which is the Weardale Teesdale Class 25, but with the Vulcan Productions reskin and sort of sound fix, where they actually managed to get the two-tone horn to work. So, yeah, I don't like the look of that sky either. So, yeah, we just need to wait for our signal to go green. And then we head on our way to Rothley. Yeah, Rothley it is. So we go down there. This is just supposed to be a demonstration Windcutter. Was that drive? Oh, I put that on the wrong way round. That was clever of me, wasn't it? I've had a couple of issues with this scenario, so we'll see if I still have those issues. I do have one issue with the Class 20 though, which is, I don't know what happened, but in one update for Train Sim, I think it was going from 2014 to 2015, that happened to the cab view, which is very strange. It's a very, very strange problem here, because, well, it's not very good if you want to know where you're going properly. It's actually quite disorientating. I'm going to stop that. It's a shame because they actually did a pretty good job modelling the cab. Now this isn't the advanced Class 20, so it's only got the one horn. And it doesn't have some of the advanced features. It's a very simple to drive loco. But I haven't driven it in a little while, so I thought, hey, do a little scenario, and then I've got a good cross-section there. So we've done steam in a career, a little jolly jaunt, which is just whatever I fancy, and now a diesel in a standard scenario. So we've got a little bit of variety there. So yeah, I've had a couple, as I said, I've had a couple of issues with writing this scenario. There's one issue that I've had with 780019, which hopefully we won't see a return of in this this time round. Hopefully. So yeah, still trying to think about what to do for the next episode. If you guys have any suggestions, then please feel free to put them in the comments, though you don't have to. Yeah, because I want these videos to be a little bit of fun, really. I want them to be entertaining, I want them to be fun, and just generally just celebrate the nice things about Train Simulator instead of slacking it off all the time. But this being an old model that I'm currently driving, we've got the dreaded block shadows, and we've also got the DT Mark 1s in this scenario, which very nice looking coaches, even on my potato graphics, but again, block shadows. Compare it to the Windcutter rake. You can see actually the block shadows from the coaches go through the wagons. The wagons themselves don't have the shadows. Okay. Okay, these are one of these weird signals that Steam Sound Supreme seem to have a bit of an obsession with, where they'll only go green as you're approaching them, or if you're going past them. So see, it's gone green because I'm moving. I do like the Class 20. It's nice, fairly nice loco, and I also like kind of the absurdity of it, because I mean, these were about the same size as like Class 25s and whatnot, but these were only Type 1 classification, so they were fairly low powered, and they also only had one cab, which is at this end, so they were often driven in this formation, and visibility was difficult if you were trying to look out towards the nose end. We've got good sounds on today. Very good sounds. Oh, just remembered, I may as well stick my lights on. There you go. And of course, Steam Sound Supreme wagons, they always sound good. It's like their wagon enhancement pack that they do. They really make scenarios just so much more immersive with good sounds. And the Great Central Route itself, the Great Central Railway route, I should say, is a very nice route to drive on. It's a little bit short. Ooh. That was quite a nice flare up. Oh no, I'm speeding. No. Yeah, it's a nice route. They've got custom track assets, custom foliage, buildings, loads of really cool stuff like that. And it's a free route. You don't pay a penny for it, which I think is amazing. I think that's really good. The fact that you get a route of this sort of standard for nothing is pretty good. There are a few payware stuff that you have to buy, as is the case with a lot of freeware routes. But I still think it's cracking value for money. The fact that you get a heritage railway route for nothing, and it's done to this standard and is actually very accurate. Right, we've got green. We've got a floaty signal there. For one, I think it's because of my graphic settings, some signal posts don't actually appear. Don't need to rush this, because this is just a demo freight. I've never actually seen a demo freight on a heritage railway, so I hope I'm doing things right. I should also say I don't really intend to release the scenario. I think it's because you do need a few bits, like you need a DT standard 2, which I don't think an awful lot of people will really want anyway, even though it is a very good loco. You also need the Mesh Tools 3F Ginty. You need both of the demo freight wagon packs. You need the DT Mark 1s, and you need Weird Teasdale, and you need the Class 25 reskins from Vulcan Productions. So this is just more of a, I don't know, just kind of like a little bit more creative thing, because I came up with an idea for a scenario with a diesel on the heritage route, and I felt like to add a little bit more variety to the channel. I won't just stick with just steam. Okay, now this signal I've been having issues with. It's permanently on a danger aspect. So I had to indicate that by having a couple of men in high vis right beside it. And I've just realised I've just tabbed and I'm still ages away from the signal. So hopefully my request doesn't time out by the time I reach it. I'm not sure if you can send another one, really. There we go. Just in time. If I zoom down, we can see 47406 coming up with a short demo freight. Tree! And this is another loco I do like. I love the Mesh Tools Ginty, because it sounds really good. As I've said before, all that it misses is just the smell. You just need the smell with that engine. Okay, I can right, let's just double check. Denied. Right. Thankfully, we've got very good brakes on this, but are they going to be good enough? We shall see. Oh, this might be a bit tight. This might be a bit tight. Oh, we got there. Let's just see where. Oh, it's come out of corn now. Still denied. I think we have to wait for it to go past that. No, saying that though, there is a signal there. I'll just wait for 78019 to get some headway on us. Beep de beep. That's interesting. The signal doesn't exist, even though it quite clearly does. Okay, I've just pressed tab and got nothing back, which means they're probably showing green. I had no idea why SSS script their signals like this. Let's just creep through, see what happens. No. I was actually going to look for a a merry-go-round scenario, because there's quite a few on the Steam Workshop. Stop beeping. So here we go through corn, which looks very nice. Some of the attention to detail in the assets on this route is very good. Weirdly enough, it's 60 mile per hour limit here. Don't know why, it just sort of is. But I imagine it's going to... Yeah, there we go. That's another one of those signals that goes green as soon as you approach it. Can I see the next signal? Next signal is green. See, that signal works okay. Doesn't just give you a red aspect and then gives you a green as soon as you approach it. Because it means because there's a bit of a bugger when you're trying to avoid having a SPAD and you're coming up to a signal and you're tabbing it and you're not getting approval and you think, oh, I don't know, will it count as a SPAD if I go through or not? So I imagine that those would be a problem on a career type scenario, because obviously with a career type scenario, if you SPAD, that's the end of the game. Loving this class 20. Loving the 20. Now, Train Simulator AI isn't that clever, so I imagine that it's currently speeding along at, well, it was probably speeding along at 60 out of corn. This wasn't, as I've said, this wasn't what I had in mind for this video. I had another scenario in mind that I wanted to create, which was sort of based on the whole West Somerset thing. And basically I wanted to make a scenario about a diesel gala. Oh, brakes. Using their two resident Hymex, because D7018, which is a Hymek that they've had in restoration for a while, I think I read somewhere that it might be coming back into service for this year's diesel gala in the summer. So I thought it would be a really cool idea to do a scenario sort of based on that. But when you're trying to come up with the AI, because I didn't want it to be boring. I'm not Dovetail Games. I didn't want to sit there and you know, just have one train running along it. I wanted to have trains coming the other way. I wanted to have them waiting in the passing loops and things, waiting for the train to come through. But I just couldn't make it work. There was one station, for example, where I had Western Campaigner coming towards Minehead, because the Hymek train, which you start off with, that was going from Minehead to Bishop's Lydiard. But the Western, at one of the stations, I set it to go into a platform and I put it in so there would be a delay, so it would have to wait for the other train for the Hymex to come through before it would carry on its way. But what it did was that it set it up to go through the opposite platform and reverse the train in to the platform I wanted. I thought, okay, maybe it's something wrong with the track on the route. Maybe if I just flip it, if I change the platforms, and maybe it'll go in there. Did that, and it did exactly the same. It wanted to go through one platform and reverse into the other, which I just thought was really weird. And no matter what I did as well, because I also wanted their Class 33 to have a bit of an appearance, because obviously it being a diesel gala, they'd be using some, you know, as many of their resident locos as possible. That's loud. I thought that if I had the 33 come up, but no matter what I did, it just wouldn't have it. It just, every single thing I did resulted in some form of clash or another, which got really frustrating. But thankfully I'd started working on this scenario, so I thought I'd finish this one off have a couple of run-throughs with it, and then I'll probably showcase this route. As hopefully, if the standard 2 that's ahead of us doesn't have any more issues. Okay, there's 78019 going through Switzerland, and I'm speeding. This is why I'm not a massive fan of heritage routes. I mean, they're very nice routes, very nice, but you're stuck at 25 miles an hour most of the time. It's not really my idea of fun. Particularly seeing as a lot of the locos that are on a lot of heritage routes just aren't suited to sitting at 25 miles an hour. Like, for example, I love driving the Just Trains Standard Class 5, and if the frames are decent on it, then I will do in a future video. But I don't like driving that engine at 25 miles an hour because it's an advanced controlled engine with a realistic steam chest and everything. It's a right pig to maintain a low speed. It's an engine that likes to, it's an engine that likes to hit 60 if it can. It doesn't like dawdling at 25. So we're just coming up to Switzerland now. Our signal's just gone green, but I think we got another signal after that. Yes, we do. So I'm going to keep coasting. It's a real shame I can't get better graphics for this at the moment. It's a real shame because this is a great looking route, and I think it would look even better without all the block shadows. And as I've said before, when my frame rates drop, you're just going to have to bear with it, unfortunately. I'm really pleased with SSS for coming out with the wagons on the Great Central, and it's more than just that. It's also on the West Somerset route as well. Wagon packs in general, because they're great things for sticking in sidings. Great things to work scenarios around. At some point, I'm going to come up with a scenario to incorporate the shock vans that Steam Sound Supreme recently launched. And what I really loved about those wagons, because I've had a little play, but what I really liked about those wagons is the fact that you get a British Railways standard brake van, which surprisingly enough, it's been slow on the uptake for a lot of developers. Yeah, still 25, so I can just keep on chugging. Another thing I wanted to do with the scenarios, I wanted to have a go with the cinematic camera. Unfortunately, there's only one tutorial on how to do it on YouTube, and it's 30 minutes of some kid going, ooh, I wonder, I persevered through it, and then as soon as you got to the scripting bit, I was like, ugh. It's those things that makes me wish I paid more attention to computing in secondary school. Thankfully, he did provide a little cheat, but it was just too much because it involved coming out of Train Simulator, loading up a text document and whatnot, just to get a bloody cinematic camera to work. I just felt it just wasn't worth it. I mean, I did manage to get quite a nice cinematic camera movement, but it just would have been better if there was something that was actually properly incorporated into the game to make things a little bit easier. But I just went through that and I just went, wow, this is why. I mean, Victory Works, for example, they use cinematic cameras in a lot of their scenarios, and I just think every time they use a cinematic camera, it's all this coding, all of it, and it's just overwhelming, completely overwhelming that it would have to go through that. I'm not sure whether it's like a different program that developers use to come up with scenarios for Train Sim, whether they use the in-game system or what. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a bit of a faff, I must say. I also wonder how on earth Victory Works managed to get a please don't give me that. Yeah, I've had a problem here with 78019 where it just stops for absolutely no reason. So I hope I don't have that. Okay. I think one criticism I will have for it's another one of those signals where they only go green if you approach them. But yeah, one problem I do have with the Class 20 is probably relating to its age. And I think, I mean, the engine sounds are very good. I love the engine sounds. They sound very 20-ish. They really do. It sounds like a Class 20. You've got the little whistle of the supercharger in the background. And it's not overwhelming. It's not like with a double O gauge DCC sound loco, where you go to an exhibition, if someone's got a DCC sound Class 20, you see all loads of people walking by adjusting their hearing aids. It's a much more pleasant sounding game, I think. Oh, hallelujah. Hey! 78019 has this. This is almost a fluke scenario, which I've engineered. Actually, I'm not saying it. I'll jinx it. Excellent. Now we move forward to Rothley Brook and stop so we can propel the train into Rothley Brook siding. I don't know why. I mean, that wasn't a typo, that's genuinely how the markers appear. If you look, Rothley Brook, and when we're propelling the Windcutter back, you'll see what I mean about the names. So, this is Carriage and Wagon Works. I've tried populating it as best I can. All the coaches that I put down on this route, they all have the correct numbers. There's a Resident 08. That's the only one in that livery, as far as I could tell. All of them seem to be in a special version of BR Green, or they're in BR Black or whatnot. So I thought it was just something a little more interesting. Just to populate this with locos and rolling stock that actually work on the Great Central. And just come up with something hopefully fun. Something where you're doing a little bit more than just, you know, I'll drive a passenger train from one end to the other. I thought I'd do something a little bit more interesting than actually have, you know, almost a little shunting move as well, where you have to obey signals, where you have to think. Because loads of people do things like that, where, you know, they sit there and go, well, you need to stop to let passengers off, and occasionally you get, oh no, someone's pulled the emergency code. Which is all stuff that can be scripted in to make a train stop or whatever. Saying that though, I haven't actually driven a scenario with an emergency call since that one with the Deltic on East Coast Main Line. Noisy wagons. They're very noisy. I think the textures on this Class 20 are absolutely amazing. They look really good. As I said, even on the poverty spec graphics, it does look good. Okay, it's telling me to go to roughly Brookside now. Very noisy wagons. Whee! That was a bit of a shove. Yeah, we got the little shunting signal there. Very odd place for a shunting signal on a gantry. I do seem to have a lot of problems with some of SSS's textures, particularly on signal posts and things, where the white's just a little too white, the red's just a little too red, you know? They seem like very primitive textures. Oh, now, is this trainer actually going to fit in the siding? I somewhat doubt it. So here's the thing, I've never actually been able to drive this scenario this far because 78019 was always in the way. And that's going to be fun with finishing the scenario, because I actually put for the that the scenario ends with the Class 20 in the siding. So either I come up with another job for the Class 20 to do, or I shorten the train. Okay. Yeah, the train's way too long. Way too long. But that's the thing with scenario creation, it's all a bit of trial and error sometimes. Well, I do like making scenarios, I do try to make scenarios, because there's always some little things that I would love to do, which a lot of developers don't really give you the chance to with a lot of their products. Fantastic, wait here for your next orders. Oh! Hey! Initiated. So, oh, signal pass of danger free time. Well, I've had to tab through most of them. No. So, yeah, that was a little look at a scenario I created for Great Central. In fact, here's another thing. If you guys have an idea for a scenario which you would like to see and see what it would be like, then yeah, put it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. It's obviously dictated by what DLC I have, but yeah, any suggestions, more than welcome. Okay, so that's it for now. So this has been Grey's Trains, and yeah, take care. I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now.